What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we need to have a look at Into the Inklands, and we need to do what I tend to do when a new set is coming. We need to have a look at the, well, what I call a pre-order guide, I think is probably the way to phrase it. Shout out to MushuReport.com, by the way. I know the English product images are out there now, but I got them from MushuReport.com. They made it nice and easy, and actually they are doing fantastic work covering the Lorcana TCG. So if you've not checked out MushuReport.com yet, might I suggest you go and do so sooner rather than later. So into the Inklands then, what have we got? Well, remember that as we tend to do here, we actually have a staggered release date. That's very important. So we don't just have one date where the sets come out. What we've actually got is one date where they come out in local game stores and another date where they come out for everyone. And those dates are February the 23rd and March the 8th. What this does, for those of you that are unaware, it basically gives local game stores a 2-week head start, which I personally am of the opinion is a wonderful, wonderful thing. I adore this. I think this is fantastic, because what this basically means is for 2 weeks you got two choices. You wait 2 weeks, or you just go and pick them up at your local game store. And what that does is it pushes people to their local game store. It means people have to pop down to their local game store to get these. And of course, if we're going to have a healthy, vibrant community, we need to have local game stores. This is very, very important. So, absolutely huge fan of this. I think this is absolutely the way to go. And I applaud Ravensburger for doing it this way. It is superb, and I love it. Cool. Excellent. So what can you get on, well, February the 23rd or March the 8th, depending on where you're shopping? Well, obviously you can get yourself booster boxes and booster packs. And we actually have 3 different artworks of booster packs, as tends to be the norm here. We've got ourselves one featuring Jafar, one featuring Pirate Piglet, and one featuring Minnie the Mouse. I don't know who it is on the design team who has turned around and decided that Minnie the Mouse needs to be featured this heavily in Lorcana, but whoever it is, I love them. I think it's a wonderful idea. And Minnie the Mouse is just getting a lot of play in Lorcana. And I don't know why. And it seems weird that Minnie's getting so many cards and so many different cards and weird designs. And it's just wonderful. Like my daughter's 5 and she loves the Minnie cards. And I'm sure there are a lot of other people out there in a very similar position. So that is awesome. And of course, along with the booster packs, you do get the booster boxes. And I know for a lot of people, this is what they're going to be after. And I know for a lot of people, this is going to be a pain. What I will say is, I know that when the first chapter launched, getting product was darn near impossible. And Rise of the Floodborn was a little bit like that on release as well. But a couple of weeks after release of Rise of the Floodborn, both sets have started popping up like everywhere and becoming far easier to get. The whole point of this video is to tell you what's coming. It's not to tell you where to buy it, because with the best will in the world, right, I cannot tell you the best shop to go to for every territory in the entire world. That would take way too much time. But what I will always tell you is support your local game store. Partly because we kind of need them to play and all of that. Partly because you'll get them early at your local game store compared to your big box stores. But also partly because, and I've said this before, if you support your local game store and they have very little stock, you'll probably be one of the people they can find boxes for. People who go in and buy stuff from them when it's cheap, but they buy online the rest of the time, they are not going to be front of the queue for products which are hard to find. From my experience, local game stores like looking after their local player base. So be the local player base. Be that person that shops there all the time, if you're able to, of course. Even if it is slightly more expensive than you could get them online. Because I assure you, most local game stores, the good ones at least, if they've got limited stock, their priority is going to be their regulars. Because you know what? It's the regulars that keep them in business. It's the regulars that make sure they can actually keep running their store on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. You have been warned. But what if you don't just want to buy packs, you don't just want to buy boxes, you want something a little bit different? Well, how about the Illuminia's Trove? It's back again. Now, Illuminia's Trove is, go try and find one from the first chapter, yeah? Try and find the first chapter, Illuminia's Trove, and try and find it for a decent price. You will notice lately that is it's a very difficult thing to do, because it's just not out there for a decent price. It's sold out. And the thing is, look at it from the point of view of Ravensburger, for instance. If you've got a lot of people clamoring for products, what would you rather print? Boxes or Troves? Some people want Troves. Some people don't. Everyone wants packs of the set. So you just reprint boxes, not Troves. It's why boxes are becoming more and more available and Troves are becoming more and more expensive. If you want these, buy them quickly. Unusual deal, you're going to get yourself 8 packs. You're going to get yourself a little booklet that tells you all about the set, which are awesome. Do not overlook the booklets. And then some counters, etc. They also make excellent presents. It's exactly like the ones from what we can see. It's exactly like the ones from the last 2 sets. You know what you're getting. If you want something exclusive, you've only really got one option, and that is the gift set. Now, remember that the first chapter and Rise of the Floodborn had vastly different gift sets. This is not like Rise of the Floodborn. This is like the first chapter. Rise of the Floodborn was awesome, and I loved it, but the reality is it was a special Disney 100 set. It was a lot more expensive than the first chapter gift set, and it came with 6 amazing alternate art exclusive promos drawn by Disney animators. It's a wonderful product, highly recommended by me, if you can find it. The first chapter just gave you 4 packs, and then you got yourself 2 holo cards, 2 jumbo holo cards, and then, like a couple of lore markers as well. Now, we since learned when the first chapter came out, the Hades and Mulan cards were not exclusive. They're reverse holo in the set, or holo, which is lovely, but you can pull them as holos from packs. The jumbos are exclusive. It's the same thing here. The cards as a whole aren't exclusive. Don't expect some exclusivity here. However, the jumbos are. This is the only product that's giving you something exclusive, and I don't say that as a negative. I say that as a descriptor. If you want exclusive stuff, this is your only option. If you don't care about jumbos, then maybe this isn't that exciting to you. And that's absolutely fine. For me, I bought the first 2 gift sets. I will be buying this one as well. It looks pretty awesome. Now, there are starter decks coming as well, and there are 2 available, and they both have 2 inks. We've got a Moana and DuckTales, which by far the better of the 2. And then we got a Peter Pan and 101 Dalmatians. And nothing against them, but come on. It's not even close. We can probably assume this is going to be very, very, very much like the first 2 sets, which means there are 2 cool things to note. Firstly, you will be getting yourselves a couple of holos, which is lovely, although again, not exclusive. They're just holos that can be found in the set. Not a bad thing. Just pointing that out. And then also, there are going to be packs. Every starter deck is going to come with a pack, which is a really nice, handy bonus. I think it makes products much more sought after, frankly. So yeah, they're going to be quite cool. Also, and I've said this before, but this really does work, but it's not just for Lorcana, for any card game. If you've got people you want to learn to teach the game, or you think you might in the future, buy all the starter decks. Now, actually, I've done a couple of sponsored videos here and been gifted the starter decks, which is lovely, but I'm going to have a complete collection of starter decks, gifted or not. Because when my kids start learning to play, and believe me, I'm going to teach them to play Lorcana, deck building is a pain for new players, especially people who are new to TCGs. So the idea here is really simple. By having a complete collection of starter decks, like by the time this set comes out, you're going to have 7 starter decks. So that's 7 decks that you and your friends can play with and swap around and take turns with, etc., without ever having to do any deck building. And look, by the time you've gone through 7 decks, you're going to have a pretty good understanding of the game and what you want to do to build your own deck. Highly, highly recommend picking up starter decks for that reason. Now, in terms of cards, that's what you've got. You've got booster boxes, you've got starter decks, you've got the Trove, and you've got the gift set. Those are your options. But there are a bunch of accessories as well. So you've got Scrooge McDuck deck box and sleeves. I love these. I absolutely love these. And every time I talk about Scrooge McDuck with this set, I have to mention the old NES game. Although there is actually a redone version for modern consoles, which might be more your speed. Regardless, big fan. It's why I love DuckTales. It's why I'm getting the sleeve and deck box. I think they're awesome. Yeah. I mean, look, it's sleeves and deck box. It's all about the design. By now, look, we're 2 sets in. You should know if you like the quality, etc. of sleeves and deck box. Don't expect any change from previous. It's just about the design. If you like the design, great. If you don't, that's fine too. The other design is Robin Hood. I do have memories of seeing Robin Hood in the cinema at a party when I was a kid, and then going to Burger King where the Happy Meals, or whatever the Burger King versions are called, kids meals, whatever, they had Robin Hood toys. But Robin Hood's fine. I've watched it with my kids recently. They enjoyed it. It's fine. But come on, you're putting it up against Scrooge McDuck. That was never going to be a thing, right? That was never going to win. Nah, mate. Now, in terms of playmats, it's nice and simple. We've got ourselves... Well, there's a Stitch one, okay? And look, nothing against Stitch. Stitch is lovely, but we got a Moana one. Moana's like the best Disney film. Might be actually the best Disney film. Certainly the best one in many, many years. For me, there are 3 Disney films that really jump out above the rest. And I'm sorry they're a bit modern and CG. I don't really care. It's Moana, Wreck-It Ralph, and Zootropolis. Yes, I meant Zootropolis. No, I didn't mean Zootopia. And they are the best for me. So look, anything along those lines I'm going to love. Even in the context of I love this anyway, look how beautiful this playmat is. I mean, come on, ladies and gentlemen. This is kind of stunning. So, yeah, huge fan of this. Yes, I have the Maui playmat from the first set. Yes, I will be picking this one up. Don't tell anyone, but I like this one more than the Maui. I like the Maui one. The Maui one's cool. The Maui one can't stand up to this. Don't be silly. So there we go. That's my favourite. And now you know. That is everything coming out for Into the Inklands. And frankly, at this stage, I wouldn't expect anything else. I wouldn't expect any more products to be coming down the pipeline. You may notice I've not mentioned portfolios. Yeah. Don't expect portfolios. Because if we were going to get portfolios, they probably would have been announced by now. The fact that they haven't been announced by now should kind of give you the heads up that you need, that we're not getting portfolios. Which is fine. We don't need them. We got portfolios. Do I want a Moana one? Yes, obviously. Do I want a Scrooge McDuck one? Yes, obviously. We're not getting them. Sorry about that. But now you know what you need to know. Now it's over to you guys. Which of these are you going to be picking up? Which are you excited about? Which are going to be a skip? Let me know in the comment section, would you? Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at Lawasi. That's where we talk Lorcana and a bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching What's He Plays.